Well, we
I
have
must,
numbers on my end so far. Oh,
I
his name is
must have
Stephen
pressed the
Grimm.
wrong button. Sorry
Stephen,
for my YouTube community because it's usually pretty busy
yeah, we'll have
on
to.
the
Can
YouTube.
you add it now?
Yeah, I just started it up. I think I might have hit the wrong button earlier, but maybe it's because I added Odyssey. Oh, so sorry about that. Okay, now we're streaming. Sorry about that, YouTube community. I, I'm I wasn't I didn't do that on purpose. So sorry about that. I just saw it now because I had nobody watching on YouTube, and you have 58. So that's my fault. This is what
It's all
happens.
good. We'll catch them up. So
Mhm.
another topic. So we've
Okay.
been talking about the Hail Mary thing, which is of course the recent
Oh,
Alien movie, and the timing of it with Easter,
mhm,
with the Artemis mission. I think it's all correlated. But
mhm.
the bigger theme here is, are aliens our friends or our enemies? And they've made it partisan. That's the part that I find intriguing here.
Okay.
Like it's predictable. Who's going to say what about aliens? You know what JD Vance said about aliens?
No, I know you talked about it on your show. I can't remember.
Demons,
Okay, demons, right?
demons. Yep.
Is JD Vance a Baptist? I
You know, I think he might be. I mean, these individuals are all chameleons. He used to be a big time never
or
Trumper.
Catholic. Yeah, maybe a Catholic. Well, I think that that's part of the theater, but the plausible deniability on that is that they're competitors first, and then once they find out who wins, quote unquote wins, then they all come back under the same tent because they all have to get along.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
an easy one to write off as okay. They're not really ever competitors, just when they're running against each other at the beginning.
absolutely. I mean, none of these individuals really stand up to scrutiny. There's no like real integrity there. Like
Yeah,
their
he's a Roman
political
Catholic.
positions.
Sorry about that. He's a Roman Catholic,
Oh,
which
he is. Okay. Okay.
well,
I
according
would
to one of
suggest
my
like
prior
there's a new
guests, they
category.
said the Jesuits created the Baptist religion, so as a false Protestant religion. So I don't really get into religion, but inevitably, almost every one of my guests or shows sort of moves towards religion. Everyone loves to talk about it, so I'm not religious in any way. So, but
Well,
the conversation always goes to Jews, Jesuits, Catholics, and all that. You know how it works.
I would suggest a new category for people like JD Vance, Candace Owens, Russell Brand, and other right wingers who turn Catholic. I think we could call them just performative Catholics.
Yeah, they're on-demand Catholics. They just become Catholics when it's convenient.
Right, exactly.
They're
And
convenience
it's
Catholics, and then when they become Catholics, then they become cafeteria Catholics, where they pick and choose what they want to believe. Just let me open up FAKO-Tube in case you're hearing funny noises. I can't hear it, but apparently my guests all can hear me opening FAKO-Tube. In case the FAKO-Tube chat, there we go. So we'll get that going. So we have quite a few people. I inevitably forced people on the FAKO-Tube tonight because I had the YouTube off. So that's kind of funny.
oh, by the way, after
Hmm.
this live stream, we're going to
Yeah.
be doing a group live chat,
Okay.
and that'll be done in the
Discord.
IPS headquarters. It's easy. The link is at ips.monster. So if you want to participate in a group discussion, it's going to be after the live stream. We'll just go straight over there.
Okay. And where does that lead to the Discord?
Yeah, that leads to the Discord. And I want to make a practice of following up the live streams with the group chat like I used to do.
Yeah, sure. It's a good idea. Fakeologist has their Discord as well. It's shortfake.com/Discord. It's a forever link, shortfake.com/Discord. Anyone can join. We don't have any fees or anything, but you do have to do a voice verification just to keep the children and the nonsense off if possible. So we do have a Discord. It's only really busy on the weekend when I don't usually do a show. So if people are welcome over there. And we have audio chats that go on forever and not necessarily about fakeology, but it's sort of a community that Did you know that we have almost 1,600 audios on the audio chat?
That's impressive. Really.
I wish most of it was. I wish it was high quality, but it's mostly just babble. But I have archived it for the listenership. We have 1,649 shows, on average 2 to 8 hours, and there are the odd number of people in the world that have listened to all of them. And I
There
don't
might,
recommend it.
I guarantee there's some gems in there. Like,
There's some good parts to all of them, but it's hard to find. I'm not dissing my own thing because, listen, not everyone can talk well on the radio. It's not easy. You make it easy, of course, but it's very difficult to make good sentences and all that and be understandable. But we do allow anyone and everyone to come on and practice. And it's good public speaking practice for a lot of people that are otherwise quite introverted. Now,
it might be possible to
Mhm.
use
Hold
AI
time, 13
to go
seconds.
through all of it.
to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So we'd
We should
have to
work out a plan.
upload an 8-hour audio and it would go through it.
Yeah, and you'd be able to search it by keyword, by speaker, by topic. I mean, it could make it very, very accessible because that's a lot of content to go through.
Yeah. Caller in, or where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, psychologist.
Hello.
It's Jay from. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me, psychologist?
Yes, we can, Jay.
It's Jay from Texas. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
Say
hope
hi
y'all
to
doing good.
say hi to Tim Osmond.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining.
Nah, no problem, no problem. I love the show, love the topic. Yeah, like I was hearing what you were saying, like, you know how everybody goes to religion and everything. The new topic, that should be a litmus test right there. That
Yeah.
should be a litmus test that we got, like, that they're not on the wrong track. Because what it really is just laws. Like, remember, this all started during COVID, when they were literally putting in laws to control the way you were moving and to control your actual doing. Like, those were real. Like, we saw those. And you could see that now with all this narrative of the war and everything. And it's going back to the old 9/11 narrative and how they're pushing Tucker Carlson and Kansas Owens. But Kansas Owens is a new one. But Tucker Carlson has always been that one who, I don't know if he wanted to or if they were trying to push like the 9/11 narrative as a, like, if you didn't follow it, you can be legally liable, almost like a stolen valor type law. I think that's another reason why that PSYOP was also pushed heavily back then too. These are all dealing with laws. They're all trying to put in laws to try to manage and control what we do and what we use. Because that's what basically, and what we say too, because that's what basically COVID was basically all about. What you do, where you go, and what you say. And it wasn't that big in Texas. I didn't really feel it that way, but from what y'all describe in Canada, New Zealand, and other parts of the United States, it seems like it was very real in the sense of the laws that they were putting in and real legal consequences. At least that's what y'all talk about, right? That's what y'all were saying, right? No masks, shutting down this, because we didn't have that here in Texas. We really didn't go that far here.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Hey, very soon, you won't have to do voice verifications because you're gonna have to do face scans to go onto Discord.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
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 That's coming up.
Is that true everywhere, or just Australia, or where they want to voice verify or verify for children?
The law, yeah. The social media law, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be implemented where, in order to get onto Discord, to make sure you're not a human trafficking victim,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to do it. There's just no way around it.
that's interesting. Are you going to stick to Discord or look for alternatives?
I don't know how people are gonna feel about it. It could be a good thing in one way, in that agents and trolls and dishonest people may be less inclined.
Yeah.
But it may also just turn people away.
Do you see that
It
for
could
the whole
probably turn
internet?
people away.
Yeah, I think that's the agenda.
Yeah.
I think the Disease X agenda is to essentially, like, to go into the commons, you have to put on a mask when you have the virus lockdown. So for the mind virus lockdowns, which we're living through now, you're going to have to scan your face. It's like a digital ID, which is essentially like masking yourself in a way. In other words, making yourself safe for public consumption. So you're cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay, you got
Well, I
anything?
mean, you could.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Well, I don't know if you remember the last show with Phil and Jim,
Yes.
where a caller called in about the virus, and they kind of made a joke about him taking the virus and everything. That show didn't fully go on YouTube. It cut off like right at the end. You know, so you can see, like how you say, you talk about the vaccine and stuff like that, you still get immediately shut off.
Was that right? I did not know
Yeah.
that. I do
Yeah.
have the occasional problems with my system freezing, and that shuts the stream off. But that's just because all these browsers are actually forgot to shut down a browser. A lot of times when I have 3 browsers open, they overload the memory system. So I think that could have been my fault. So I just noticed I had 3 browsers open tonight: Firefox, Brave, and Chrome. But anyway. All right, Jay. Anything else?
Thank you.
All right.
No, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you.
Right.
And I wanted to ask Tim Osmond before I forgot that I saw a video podcast with Jim Lee. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Not until I got the link from you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sent it to you. I pinged you because I wanted to get your take on this guy, because you're one of the only people that speak out against the narrative on chemtrails, and I tend to agree with you. And I'm not saying other people don't see stuff, but anytime someone sends me a picture, it looks like a contrail to me. And this guy had a really comprehensive website. He's dedicated his whole life to the topic, and I like the guy. We're always suspicious, of course, of these people that are promoted, but he addresses everything: the idea of chemtrails, the idea of geoengineering, the idea of man-made climate change, and he's the only one that has a comprehensive overview of the whole thing. And I thought you would probably be very interested in that.
Yeah, I was looking through his site. I'm still formulating an opinion, but basically you're really going against the grain to say that chemtrails don't exist. And it's because it's been one of these unchallenged orthodoxies.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think it's a foot bullet.
Mhm.
Like I really think just by promoting the idea, you're telling the world outside of your bubble that you don't even consider the opposite perspectives. And in order to even buy into it, you have to be willfully ignorant about the reality of frozen jet exhaust.
Mhm. Did you know, I listened to one of his podcasts with Germ Warfare. And by the way, Germ Warfare has semi-invited me on to his show to talk about fake NASA. And Germ has a lot of good guests. He has a good microphone. And he had Jim Lee on, and he let Jim Lee talk most of the time, which is very good. Jim Lee is quite professional at his presentation. And one thing he talked about, I didn't realize that jet air travel, the number of passenger miles per person was at its highest in 2019, just before COVID. And this guy, Jim Lee, says there is pollution that comes out of planes. I think we can agree on that. And he says that actually the exhaust goes up, not necessarily down, and lingers in the stratus or the troposphere for up to a year. And that might account for the different colorations in the sky, that kind of thing. Because that's one of the memes that goes around, that the sun has changed colors, the sky has changed colors, that kind of thing. So his contention is it's pollution. And I tend to agree that all the stuff in combusted kerosene, there are metals, there are all kinds of things, and there is no pollution control on an airplane. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I've heard this view. It's kind of the environmentalist view that they're not chemtrails, they're contrails, but contrails are still bad because they're deflecting the sun. Honestly, I think that there's nothing to it. I don't even think the exhaust, I think the engines are cleaner than ever.
Okay.
And I think what we're seeing, well, I know what we're seeing is just hot air.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a lot of money invested in having everybody afraid of what we're doing to the planet as though we can alter the weather. So no, I don't, he might be right, but I don't give any kind of quarter whatsoever to the idea, to the proponents of the idea that the airplanes are modifying the climate, because it opens the door to giving credibility to the chemtrail theory,
Yeah.
which is
Time 2 minutes
Okay.
46 seconds.
Caller in, or what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John the Beggar, and I'm calling from the South Shore of the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Hi, John. Say hi to Tim.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
hey, what's up, John the Beggar? Did you get my email?
Yes, I got your email.
Yeah, what you're getting is the IPS snapback, which has a IPS on the front, a blue bill, and then it has the unicursal penguin with a wrench design.
Wow.
Okay.
All for the low,
That's
low
cool.
price?
I'm looking forward to it.
All
Yeah,
for
I was making sure that I got a size large enough to accommodate your exceptionally large brain.
Whoa.
And so you're getting the first snapback.
Oh, wow.
Well, I do have an extremely large skull. Anthropology professors always ask me if I had Basque ancestry, and a guy in Detroit area named Harry the Hatter, who's a famous haberdasher, he met me once when I was a boy, and he wanted to do a hat for me, and he wanted to put it on display because he said it was the largest skull he ever saw.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have thought Neanderthal.
That could be it too. But anywho,
Yeah, what do you got, John?
Okay, Jim Lee, like David Duke, I believe his father was a colonel in the military.
Okay.
So that leads me a little suspicious of him. I couldn't disagree with you guys more on the issue of contrails, chemtrails, geoengineering, but I do understand what you're saying on some of these things that get everyone scared of everything and the climate changing. But I think the climate is more changing from them playing God with the weather and other things. And I even believe that they're playing God with a lensing system in front of the sun. And that they can, like a person with a magnifying glass, can heat us up or actually dim it and cool us down.
When are
And I
they
have
going to
no
heat
doubt-
Canada up? Because it's been a very cold winter.
Well, that's what they do. They bring it one way, they bring it the other way, and I think they are just anxious to be able to control things completely and control everyone's mind completely. I mean, they did during COVID. You saw how crazy people act.
Well,
You
you know,
saw
in-
churches went along with them. I mean, this is totally in opposition to what the historical Christian church did. The historical Christian church, and I had this taught to me by atheists and agnostic professors in college, they were not afraid of plagues. They came out and took care of people during plagues when everyone else ran away. This is how they got some sympathy from people, because sometimes the people that, I'm not sure what they called them, they were the police of that day, and then there were judges. They took care of these people when they were sick. So these people were starting to, these people aren't bad people. You know, what do? Well, they're told to pay their taxes and obey the laws of the government. What are we oppressing these people for? And I know I was taught this by nuns in catechism class as a young man, and there are books on it. And the way they mind controlled everybody, and they own the religious institutions. They own my church, that's for certain. It's just terrifying to think how people went along.
Okay.
Agreed. And one of the things I've been looking into lately is the writings of George Soros on social alchemy and this idea of using dialectics to create historic change. And what I'm seeing here, and this is just my take on it, is that they do control history proactively, but it works by polarizing the masses into two major camps, the pro and the anti. So when I look at the whole chemtrail thing, I'm like, you guys are just the anti to the climate change. Both sides agree that man controls the weather. One side blames the private sector, the other side blames secret government. Same outcome.
Possibly, but I actually do believe they are doing it.
What do you think about
You believe it? Do you have any evidence?
vinegar? Does vinegar, if you boil it,
Yeah, if you leave it outside your door, will it help?
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Curtis, what's his name? Curtis Stone, the
Ice Age
Canadian
Farmer.
guy.
No, that was actually Crow 777. Is he still?
Well, I think Curtis Stone did it too once.
Oh, did he?
But it's ridiculous. Boiling vinegar and something's going to go away. It's absolute nonsense.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, John? Because your line is buzzing as usual.
Okay. Well, no, I just wanted to get my 2 cents in worth that I believe that his father was a colonel in the military, and it makes me a little bit suspicious of Mr. Lee.
Me
All
too.
right.
Good point. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Okay. And with that, good night, guys.
Good night. That's John the Beggar. You want to try one more call from our regular Puget Sound correspondent?
Yes.
Okay. You're very brave. Okay.
Hold time 13 minutes
Oh,
20
he waited the longest.
seconds.
Okay. Caller, where are you calling from? What's your name? Caller? Caller.
Brian in Washington.
Hi, Brian in Washington. How you been?
All good here. Thank you.
Thank you. Say hi to Tim Osmond, please, and try and get your question focused on our guest's expertise, if you don't mind.
Okay, but I get to express my disappointment. I missed Jay because
You missed
I really
Jay?
wanted him to look. Jay.
We don't normally like
Texas.
to conference callers. That just happens sometimes.
Okay, he's been vaccine damaged in the military and
Oh, okay.
believes that the world can just work without. Will work for free is what he's recommending, and that I should embrace communitarianism. Sometime I would like to have a conversation about Amaletto and Utopia, this scary ass stuff that I tried to bring up with Tim Osmond, but you made the broadcast disappear.
Well, no, that was okay. That was the night that my system froze, but I did upload it eventually. I don't always.
Somebody else.
I re-uploaded the whole video.
Your system froze. How convenient.
Yeah, no, that's totally my fault. But I did re-upload it when I realized that. I have to wait till someone tells me that it's not there. So that's what happened. Yeah, it froze. Yeah, froze.
My handlers called me and they said to delete the files.
I think you're giving us a good chuckle, Tim.
He's telling a funny.
handlers-
Nothing
And-
malevolent from this end.
And just for some more humor, it is Jim Lee that says, I live in the best double wide trailer mobile that the Illuminati has ever bought.
Right.
I'm looking forward to some real discussion because FAK1250, Tim, he doesn't like to talk about politics. Absolutely, chemtrails are off. And after his guest on Sunday, I don't think he'll be entertaining any more flat Earth. We live on a round ball in a solar system. I'm glad that was created here.
Brian, I let everyone talk about different topics. I don't agree with everything every guest says. I guardrail certain things that I'm not interested in. And
Well, speaking of flat Earth, I just sent a copy of my latest book to Mark Sargent because his PO box is public, and I gift wrapped it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I want to get on his program. He recently had a pretty decent show on Strange World with Chief Crow. If you haven't seen it, if you look up Chief Crow, Mark Sargent, it's the last episode. And Chief Crow called me and left a message and said I needed to call him because he thinks it'd be a good idea for me and Mark to talk. So I've been asking people, if you want me to talk to Mark Sargent, send me a list of questions or topics that you'd like us to address.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm all over the dialogue thing. I mean, we've been at this for 20 years, and I have many people that come on and say it's definitely time for torches and pitchforks. And others will call in, it is interactive radio, and some unknowledgeable guy will say, I think we have more between our ears than what you are saying is the end of our rope. We can figure this out. I mean, I think that what FAKO Tim is doing, and Tim Osmond, a guy called in, Dave from Baja, he wants an end to the dialogue. Let's just embrace communitarianism. It is, something we need to call these people out, because they intend to, much like I've seen it 20 years now. They'll come in and they'll take over your opportunity for dialogue. Ban him, block him, make his wife call. These people.
Yeah, you do get some negative feedback. You're talking about you.
Yeah,
and by the way, sorry, here's Chief Crow on the screen. This guy looks a little bit out there, Tim Osmond. Is this?
Oh, he's a musical genius. He's the one who wrote the song "Auto Hoax."
Oh, right. Okay.
Mask
He just
of
has
the
quite a
Beast.
look to him.
COVID 1984. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He has quite the look. Okay. No, just saying.
Oh no, I seen him perform live in an event that Mad Mike hosted in Las Vegas, and yeah, he's really a great asset to the off-world stage, post-globe media fakery demographic. I mean, his music's coming from that perspective.
Okay. All right. Nate Watley says, I tuned in late and now I'm stuck with Brian from Washington. And then he said, Brian is a fearmonger. Is that true, Brian?
I embrace every opportunity that we can utilize to use this DARPA equipment, this invented by them, and we are currently able to use it, but the time is short. You're going to have to prove that you're not a 15-year-old looking at pornography, so give me your complete ID. I mean, didn't you see the movie? I don't need those taken papers, and on from Germany as well. This is what's coming.
Yeah.
Time is short. No, I wouldn't say that. I say it's too late. I think it's too late. I think it's too late. I don't think what we're facing is incontestable. We're so deep in it, and we're going deeper into deception. Like, they've hoodwinked us. They've systematized gaslighting, mass gaslighting, and they've removed the ability for the average person to discern real and fake. So we're technically in a simulation. We're in hyper reality now.
So it's too late. So Brian should stop worrying because there's nothing he can do because we're past the point of no return.
Well, that's the trick here. The people who are awake, who have a conscience like Brian, they engineer these responses so they get reactive and they can't do anything with it. And eventually that leads to defeatism, nihilism. But meanwhile, you're a loosh cow.
He wants torches. Do we get Tim Osmond? Should we listen to Brian and get the torches out and the pitchforks? And where would we
people
go?
have asked me this before. Should we organize? And I'm saying it'd be like organizing patients in an asylum. Like, you might physically, for a brief time, take over the madhouse, but the people who are taking over are in no position to replace it with something better. Like, no, everyone's too brainwashed by the relentless psychological warfare to in any way organize or mobilize against it. We're not in the same universe. And so, no, you would need an army of the deprogrammed, and there aren't enough.
Ryler is saying you want people to give up.
No, I want people to stop playing the role of controlled opposition by just being reflexively against whatever the mainstream is saying, because by thinking that they're fighting the system, they've become part of the system. The alternative media is alternative programming. It's that simple.
I have one final comment.
All right.
I'm told constantly Why bother trying, Brian? It'll never work. That repels me. I've never been there. It's the half glass full or half empty, and Tim Osmond is saying, I think we're done. I'm not there. I'm looking forward to calling in every night.
I know
So
you do. Are you going
on
to
that side note,
are you going to get your digital ID so you can call in?
I think I'm going to go to the ammunition supply place.
Oh boy.
Make sure that I'm.
Oh yeah, that's
well
the Brian. Since Tim Osmond brought up Mark Sargent, you live near. Well, Mark Sargent lives in Puget Sound.
Well, I've never heard of him.
Oh come on!
Come on.
No, I see him on the frigging broadcast here, so
Yeah,
I can look.
he's on Watley
later.
Island. Do you know where Watley is? It Whitley Island?
I think it's Whidbey.
Whidbey. Sorry, Whidbey Island. That was close. I got the W right. Hey, can you float over there and visit him? He lives with his mother.
Well, I mean, I love boat travel, but it is a little risky.
Yeah.
Right now we're freezing ass cold and precipitating and snow coming down in the mountains.
Yeah, but, you're not in the mountains.
No, but
you're at sea level.
It's true, but that we got 3 inches a month ago. I'm not going to jump in a boat and run up to Whidbey, but I have traveled by boat. I enjoy it immensely.
Okay.
But generally, it's off on the I-5er and go up and then take a ferry.
Brian, Mark Sargent has a call-in show. Can you not get your biochar and your communitarian? He has a bigger audience than me. Look at this. He has 106,000 subscribers. I'm nobody compared to him. Look, you better get over there.
I will make some headway, but it's much more likely that he travels down here. We have a big garden we put in and an orchard and a little. He probably has a lot more time, and I will reach out to him. And I'm hoping Jim Lee will reach out to you.
All right. Brian, thanks for calling.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
I think he's getting sarcastic as he gets older, as he gets more airtime. That was, in case anyone wants to say I cut people off, that was about a 10-minute call right there.
Yeah, look, I'm going to start an open phones program again once I get into my new office space later this month.
Okay.
And I'm setting down some formal rules where I'm going to limit my calls to 5 minutes unless it stays on topic. And I'm going to have discipline about it. We really got, I mean, to get through the number of callers and to get the best intel, I have to be disciplined. Whereas in the past, I'll let somebody talk for 3 hours. And I'm not against that, but
and some of those are good callers. You had some really good brothers that used to call in. By that I mean the dark shaded kind. They were pretty good. You had at least 3 or 4, and they must.
I don't know what demographics people are from, but what I do realize is that a lot of people just recognize that there really isn't a platform for what we're talking about. Everything's controlled op or stuck in truth or orthodoxies.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to hear outsider perspectives and get some feedback.
Yeah, I think so. I think we still have we're very unique, our talk shows, very similar, a lot of overlap. And I agree with you. We like to talk about similar topics. We don't agree on everything, but we agree on most things. That's enough. And even if we disagreed, it would probably be an interesting show as well.
We don't agree on, for example, transvestigation.
Yeah.
And that's fine. The main distinction, though, is that it's a belief, not something that you can actually claim to know for sure. True. And as long as we are honest about our exact position relative to a proposition, it's perfectly workable.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to ask you? There's just too many topics going on. Suzette says Mark Sargent is on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Yeah, he's done maybe 1,000 talk shows since Flat Earth. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. What do you think of the idea that Flat Earth is a psyop to discredit anybody and everyone who challenges the narrative of NASA. And the reason I asked that is I did watch the Mark Sargent video, and it might have been the one before this one when he was doing a live stream of Artemis with somebody. And almost every single time they talk about someone who disagrees or thinks that NASA is real, he calls them globetards. So in
He
other
uses that
words,
phrase.
well, something like that. So in other words, if you disagree with, if you think that NASA is faking it, then you're a flat earther. It's a dialectic. If you think that,
Yes, exactly. Okay.
and I think you don't have to have an opinion on the shape of the Earth to believe that NASA's faking it. They don't go together.
Exactly. You're right. I believe you're right about this, where they control the conversation by forcing it into a dialectic.
Yeah.
And it went from globe Earth society versus flat Earth society. So the
Mhm.
reason IPS is IPS, infinite plane society, is I said we can't fall into their debate, which excludes any option that they don't control. So I
Yeah.
knew from the very beginning, flat model versus round model was actually fallacious because neither one could be fully validated or tested by us to the point of satisfaction, because we don't have a space agency and we don't have access to the quote edge of the world at the time. So I said, let's not be closed-minded. So no, I think the debate's fallacious. I think it's
Yeah.
premature. We need more information. It's definitely controlled opposition.
Well, that's what Mark Sargent on, and I've talked to him. I was one of the first people to call when I got my Skype hooked up back in the day, and I just called and I was on a live show, and people think that that was staged. It really wasn't. I can testify to that. But again, when I watched his show on Artemis, and I'm trying to find it here, he did a whole live stream, and he kept saying, almost like he had to say it, that if you still believe NASA, then you are a glober. I thought, why do you keep saying that? You don't need to have any opinion on the Earth to see this is fake. And NASA fakes it not because of the shape of the Earth. They fake it because they're trying to control the basic idea of space and just basically everything
Yeah,
that
and
we
you know
can
what
see.
I've noticed too is there seemed to be this developing deconstruction of NASA, the space station, before the flat Earth topic, where people were looking at evidences of Photoshop in ISS where it looked like it was staged. And it was getting to the point where it was probably too credible. And they knew that creating a stereotype or a straw man flat earther would be a good way to sabotage any legitimate inquiry. And I think there's a lot of these. A lot of these planted narratives are actually foot bullets. They're designed to discredit the witness.
Yeah. Well, I think you should go on the show with them because I think all exposure is pretty good exposure. So if you do get on, maybe you can bring that up with them, saying, why do you crowbar that into every single thing you say? Why is it
Yeah, okay.
necessary?
That's a
Are
good
you-
point, because
Yeah.
I've been saying for a while that from our perspective, from what we can experience, we can't say definitively I'm a flat earther. It appears to be, I don't see a curve, but it needs more testing. To say you're a globe earther is to rely on the agencies that you've already lost trust in. So what are you? And I'm like, I'm just an earther. I don't have any information beyond that. Earther's fine enough for me.
And you're the only IPS. You're the only one that talks about that theory, infinite plane, I believe. No one else does.
And infinite plane means a couple of things. It
Yeah.
means infinite until proven otherwise. Like we can't
Mhm.
assume a border or a boundary prematurely. And that's what both the flat earth model under a dome and the globe do. And then when you get down to it, the solar system is flat, galaxies are flat. Guess what shape the universe is?
Mhm.
Flat.
And
Meaning
yeah.
it's infinite and it's flat. And so the shape of the world is immaterial if you look at the big picture.
And when did you come to that viewpoint? Early on, before you came onto the internet, or after? Or
When I first looked at the topic, all I said was, if you create a model and then everything that you bring in to support it just reinforces it, it becomes more like cognitive bias, and it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to be your model. Because at the time you had various models that were being proposed. And I said, that's putting the cart before the horse. We need more investigation before we even formulate one. So let's just assume infinite until proven otherwise as a way of accepting that we don't have enough intel, and to prematurely accept something would be to possibly, put ourselves into an alternative cage. So this is, to me, this was the only open-minded position to take.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna mention maybe you could have because I've had Simon Shack with the Tychos dot space model on my show a few times, and he gets mad at me for not being a big astronomer, and I should really embrace his model. You might be a good guy to talk to him about that as well, because I think he wants any and all exposure. So if you want, I could hook you up with him, because I think you would do a pretty good job interviewing him.
Now, here's what I think is missing from the picture here. Because if it's model versus model, it's shape versus shape, it's about the material world. But I'm of the opinion that we are integrated into creation in such a way that to exclude the effects of human consciousness or the centeredness of human consciousness in the big picture is to miss the point. Because I think the universe is human centric. And I don't think shape is even a relevant question when we haven't even determined how much of our mind influences or is in some way co-creative with what we're experiencing. And then is the universe, as described, a static model that we're living with or on, or is it something that comes into being as it's experienced? So I kind of think that the shape question is way too reductive.
Okay. Well, he just talks about the solar system. He really doesn't get in. Well, he says it is a ball, so that's just his model. And he says the observable facts of looking at the stars proves it. So I just thought maybe you might be a good match to talk to
Yeah,
him.
I'll check it out. And let's say I conceded that the Earth is a round ball.
Okay.
Let's say I do that. It still doesn't mean that what NASA has shown us from the ISS is what the Earth actually is. So it could be a ball, and they could be concealing a few extra continents, for example.
Oh, I agree that NASA's never shown us, because they don't go that high. So they can't. And they definitely always tell us that it's a composite, which means it's fake. They say that. Those are their words. So we've never
But
seen
again,
them.
it doesn't mean you're a flat earther just because you think NASA's covering something up.
Absolutely. I agree. So maybe when you talk to Mark, I'm sure Mark will have you on the show. I don't think it'll be hard to get on. So maybe you could do that. And if I do talk to Germ, I will plug your site as well. And maybe you can go on his show too.
Maybe you could talk to him again and kind of recap the last, 8 or 9 years or whatever it's been, 10 years.
Yeah, I never really talked to him about much. I've never been on his show. He came on my show, and we just had a general talk. So yeah, there's so much.
It's your fault that Mark Sargent got out there.
Oh, you're talking about Mark. I was talking about Germ. Well, no, I was one of the first to see on YouTube. Everyone could have seen it, called Flat Earth Clues, which was very close in naming as September Clues, which was a coincidence, he said. But yeah, I'm the one that first called Mark Sargent. I think I was episode 1. That maybe. So I've talked to him a couple other times. He's a great guy to talk to, but there's something up with him. It's very strange.
Well, A Strange World, that's his podcast. And what I'm going to do is compile all the questions and concerns people want me to raise, and I will bring them up in the conversation. I think it'll be interesting.
All right. So if anyone wants to finish or talk to Tim again, you have your live stream on Discord next.
Yeah. So on Discord, we're going to be in voice chat for about the next 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
If not longer, but that's kind of the plan from now on. And thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. And I think we should continue this. My schedule's going to open up. I just had to do a lot of overtime in order to make sure I can make all the necessary moves this month.
All right. IPS.monster if you want to support Tim Osmond. Did you fix your Bitcoin thingy on your site, or not yet?
I'm going to do that tonight. Actually, on my to-do list, I'm actually updating the website.
Yeah.
So the IPS.monster website will have links to additional, like I have the hat. I actually
got
have
the
a
hat?
new version that I sent to John the Beggar. So hopefully
Oh.
he'll do a selfie.
Okay, if you want to help struggling artists and broadcasters, IPS.monster needs your help. So make sure you help him. And I didn't see any super chats tonight, but I haven't. YouTube, I hit 1,000 at shortfake.com/YouTube. And then now they say I have to wait. So I don't know what you have to do after you hit 1,000 because it's saying you have to wait for them to decide whether you
Yeah,
can.
that's right. That's
Is
right.
that
They're going
right?
to just review and make sure that you're not engaging in wrong think. But I think you'll get through. I think you'll get through just fine.
How long
And
does it take?
I don't think it takes more than a few days.
I'll look again. I haven't looked in a few days. I'll look again, see if I can offer super chats to the membership and joins.
Well, when I get back in my office, I'm going to be back on OBS, Open Broadcasting Software.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn on the TTS for super chats like Nick Fuentes does, where somebody puts a message in a super chat, it will just read it in a computer voice. I
Oh,
think that's a nice feature.
how does that work? How do you do that?
I think you can do it in Restream as well. I would
Mm-hmm.
basically you turn on the TTS for super chats
Oh,
using something in there. It's not hard to find the instructions, but the result is if somebody sends a super chat and puts a message, even if it's unflattering, it will read it and interrupt the show. And
oh,
I think it's kind of fun.
okay. I'll look for that. That's fine. If people want to pay to disrupt the show, I guess it's their prerogative.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fine with that.
All right, Tim Osmond, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining, and we will have you back next week, same time, same place, etc., etc.
Yeah, and I realize you turned on your YouTube late. Do you still have a full recording of this available to you, or do you need me to send you one?
Oh no, I have it. Well, the good thing about Restream is it always records. So Restream has it, and you can also download the audio directly from Restream in stereo. Not that I do stereo, so I do have it. So that
Okay, excellent.
So if I get interrupted, though, FAK12 will be interrupted. YouTube will be interrupted, but I will re-upload it. But I usually wait till someone complains. But
Ollie
yeah.
Bongo Magic Trick asks if I ever smile or laugh. Never seen me do either.
Mhm. Well,
Reminds me of Philip K. Dick's story. Do androids dream of electric sheep?
there you go. Well,
Right.
I laugh, and but I'm just not on video, so you'll have to just wonder.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I see half the people on video, yeah, you may as well stay on audio. That's the way I feel about it. So, yeah, thanks a lot, Tim, and thanks to the callers. We'll see you next week.
Likewise. All right, great.
All right, take care. Bye, everybody.
These frozen and silent nights, sometimes in a dream, you appear outside under the purple sky, diamonds in the snow sparkle. Our hearts were singing, it felt like Christmas.